is killed. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar is saying there's no need for a state of emergency, and she's assuring that measures have been put in place to prevent any further incidents at any of the nation's prisons. Good evening, I'm Golda Lee Bruce, and this is the CNC3 News. At 7 o'clock, our top story this evening, and the story that we've been following all day long, a deadly prison break in downtown Port of Spain has left a police officer dead and at least one escaped prisoner dead. The deceased prisoner has been identified as Alan Scani Martin, one of the accused in the Vindranai-Paul Coleman murder trial. It all unfolded earlier today as he sent panic throughout the country. Camerawoman Crystal James and reporter Chester Sembrano were outside of the Port of Spain General Hospital where Martin was killed.
Unbelievable footage of a shootout at the Port of Spain General Hospital on Friday morning.
This country going to dogs! This country going to dogs!
The incident occurred just before midday after 3 prisoners escaped custody at the Royal Jail in Port of Spain. This man had just collected his medication.
It's the excitement of people running around and everything. And I have to run that way and shut down all over the place.
Reports say one of the escapees, Alan Scani Martin, was the one engaging the police and lost the battle. He was an accused in the Vindranai-Paul Coleman murder trial. This blue Navara was reportedly used by men involved in the incident. It's total lockdown here at the moment. We're on Charlotte Street, and as you can see, it's blocked from all the parts. If you go over to Henry Street, Frederick Street as well, everything is blocked down in front of the prison. Nothing can pass as the police are trying to get a handle on this situation. A national security helicopter hovered, and reinforcements arrived with every passing minute. Prison officials took no further chances. They removed other inmates who were seeking treatment at the hospital. Soon, though, a somber mood cast over the crime scene as officers learned that one of their colleagues who was involved in the shootout, PC Herman Maynard, died while undergoing emergency treatment. This officer, pained. As the time went by and the situation seemed to be under control, nurses and other civilians were allowed to leave the institution. But neighboring businesses, this gas station among them, were not about taking any chances, sending employees home early. Chester Sembrano, CNC3, Port of Spain General Hospital.
Well, meanwhile, security forces were on high alert outside the Port of Spain prison from where the 3 men escaped. Police say they had to isolate and secure a hand grenade found after the 3 men escaped from jail. Law enforcement authorities believe that weapon may have been smuggled into the prison to facilitate the escape of the men. Kamal Georges and cameraman Neil Romain are outside of the prison today to tell us what happened there.
This is the grenade the 3 prisoners intended to use during their escape from the Port of Spain prison. But it never detonated. Investigators found it near the entrance of the Royal Jail this afternoon. But how the men received the ammunition to make their escape is now top priority for investigators. But well-placed sources say the men received the guns and explosives after a visit this morning. It is there, our sources say, 2 9mm guns and hand grenades were given to them. Around 12:30, in a daring move, the men opened fire on prison officers and escaped from the front entrance on Frederick Street into a waiting blue Nissan Navara. 1 prison officer shot in the process.
We could confirm that a prison officer was injured. We could confirm, yes, they shoot their way out of the prison. So you will see right now, I'm trying to get a feel and a good sense of what has transpired and all of the particulars in this situation.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police did not confirm or deny that weapons were brought into the prisons by visitors. Our sources tell us investigators already have in their possession CCTV footage and are examining the video to decide their next step. DCP Glenn Hackett told reporters outside the prison this afternoon that a detailed team of investigators, including cybercrime, has been assigned to look at the escape and the shootings.
I had unconfirmed information that somewhere in one of the prisons that there may be some escape plan. That was 6 weeks ago, I placed at each prison, the Port of Spain prison, the maximum prison, and the Golden Grove prison, police officers stationary 24 hours each day, 24/7. And it is because of this that we were able to partly stymie the escape bid, resulting in the fatal injuries to Alan Scani Martin.
DCP Hackett told us the police service is now on high alert until the remaining men are captured.
It is as far and wide as Trinidad and Tobago. We are looking at all the ports to stultify any attempt to escape. We are looking at mountain roadblocks all over Trinidad and Tobago. We are using air support and so on. Simultaneously as we speak. As we speak, that is going on. The alert level is very high in view of recapturing those escaped prisoners. It will be that way until they are recaptured and until we bring some semblance of normalcy to life in Trinidad and Tobago and ensure that persons are safe and secure in their environment.
The DCP said it was premature to make a link between the men's escape and the recent detaining of several men from a Karapo mosque.
Well, our team is outside the Royal Jail still at this point in time to bring us an update on the situation there. Kamal, what can you tell us?
Hi, good evening to you, Golda. I am coming to you live from outside the Port of Spain prison, the Royal Jail here in Port of Spain. As you can see behind me, it is still very much investigators still inside of the prison gathering information and whatever evidence that they need. I can't confirm at this time whether anyone is being interviewed, but we are told that crucial CCTV footage which will help in this investigation to determine a number of things. How did these men obtain guns and hand grenades to make their escape, if anyone assisted in that escape? So the officers, the investigators already have in their possession that crucial footage that will help in this investigation. They've left here. The situation is pretty much, it's quiet, a lot quieter now when compared to earlier today. The streets around the Port of Spain prison are still cordoned off. There's no access to vehicular traffic on Frederick Street, on New Street, and the parallel streets around the Port of Spain prison. All pedestrian traffic is also being diverted onto other streets. They are keeping here, they're treating it, as I told you earlier, as a live crime scene. We have not been able to get any further information from the officials at this point in time, but that is the situation as it is now. Very quiet in this part of Port of Spain as the Royal Jail is still on lockdown.
Thank you so much to Kamal. And as he said, the streets in the vicinity of the hospital and the Royal Jail are on lockdown at this point in time. And we go now to Chester Zambrano, who's in downtown Port of Spain, to get an update from him there. Chester, what can you tell us?
Hi, good evening, Golda, and good evening to all of you here on CNC3. Well, my exact location is at the Cipriani statue, which is located in the heart of Port of Spain along the Brian Lara Promenade. What I can tell you now is it seems that the feelings of fear and anxiety seems to have dissipated somewhat as I'm looking around and people are going about their business as usual. The taxi stands are operating as usual. People are coming in and out. There's some people across there who usually play cards. They're doing so as normal. The fruit stands, which are located around the promenade, they're open as well. And you can see businesses are operating quite normal. There's also not a sense, I'm not getting a sense that there's any heightened police activity. Now, there's a mobile unit, which is usually here, but I'm not seeing any officers patrolling or standing guard or anything like that to say that there's any increased level of police activity here. There's one van parked behind me, a police van, but still not a high officer turnout, if you want to call it that, here in downtown Port of Spain. And I can also tell you that people are liming as usual, as per Friday. I don't know if you can hear it, but music is playing across the street from the city vendors. So basically, business is back to normal here in Port of Spain. As you know, earlier there was some sense of panic when the incident happened at the Port of Spain jail and the hospital. People were closing up their businesses, workers were going home, but it seems that has all faded away, and it's back to a sense of normalcy in downtown Port of Spain. Golda, it's back to you in studio.
Thanks, Chester. Well, Prime Minister Kamla Persad says tonight saying there's no need for panic or a state of emergency at this time. Late this afternoon, she spoke at an NOC press conference and assured the public that the situation is under control.
Honourable Ministers, Commissioner of Police, Chief of Defence, Mr. Brigadier General Maraj, and of course you all listening to us and those who are tuned in. As today's events unfold, I take this opportunity to provide reassurance to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The public disorder we have witnessed in Port of Spain is deplorable, and those responsible will face the full force of the law. There has been loss of life, and this will not be tolerated. It is especially tragic that the officer who lost his life was a law enforcement officer who was bravely performing his job and serving the public and his country. We extend our sincerest condolences to the family of PC Sherman Maynard. I want our citizens to be very clear that as long as I am your Prime Minister, you have nothing to fear. Today's disorder is confined to Port of Spain and is being dealt with effectively as described by the Minister of National Security. I have been in constant communication with the National Operations Center, and I'm confident that national security agencies are in full control of the situation. Your government is, of course, in full control and dealing firmly, speedily, and appropriately with what is unfolding. Immediate measures that have been taken include all prison installations are secured, and members of the prison service, supported by the TTPS and the Trinidad and Tobago Defence Force, have been deployed to secure the prisons. The prison authorities have assured us that there is calm amongst the prison population. All ports of entry have been monitored and placed on high alert as the search for the escapees continue. As Minister told you, all medical facilities have been mandated to alert the protective services should anyone with gunshot wounds attend their facilities. I will provide further information as I am able to do so, but be assured that this unacceptable episode in Port of Spain is being dealt with. Once again, I assure the population of TNT that the security service have the situation in hand. There is no need for fear, there is no need for panic. The authorities will keep the nation updated as developments unfold. As Minister also told us, any citizen with information relating to this matter is advised to call 999 or contact the nearest police station. Thank you very much.
Well, it's time now to ask you tonight's Your Vote question. You've been speaking to us all day, and we want to continue that conversation with our poll question. It's this: are you comforted by assurances that national security is not under threat? Text your response to the number 2623. If you'd like to say yes, text Y. If you'd like to say no, then text N. We'll tell you how you voted at the end of our newscast this evening. Still to come in the news, the Jamaat al-Muslimin is distancing itself from the prison break which occurred today. Its leader, Imam Yassin Abu Bakr, speaks out. And businesses close their doors early and send workers home in the capital city. We'll tell you more about that in just a minute. Coming up in sport, it's another gold for TNT in this year's Pan Am Games as the medals keep coming.
Let's take a look at your Saturday marine conditions. We are expecting easterly winds at first of 10 to 15 knots to increase by nightfall and give way to east to southeasterly winds of 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be coming in between 4 and 6 feet in height, or just up to 2 meters. And this weekend offshore, we're looking out for the passage of a tropical wave, which means scattered showery activity and isolated thunder showers are expected. So look out for a slight chop in sheltered areas. I've got your weekend weather forecast coming up in just a bit.
No one ever said that winning an Olympic medal would be easy. If it was, then everyone would do it. To perform at my best, I optimized my health with the right choices.
Well, as we continue our coverage of the prison break that occurred today in Port of Spain, we want to show you pictures of the two men who were still at large. Christopher Selby is on the loose. He was being held for a murder in 2012 and was at the remand yard awaiting trial. The other escapee still at large is Hassan Atwell. He was awaiting extradition to the United States for kidnapping and conspiracy to murder. And Alan Scani Martin, as you have been told, has been killed by police. He was being tried for the murder of Vindranipal Coolman. Well, as news of the shooting and jailbreaks spread across the city, people in the capital and businesses, many were uncertain of what was actually taking place. As you can see in this footage shot by our crew, there was bumper-to-bumper traffic as motorists left the city. The police service quickly deployed officers out onto the nation's road, and they were searching vehicles and also searching citizens as they exited the city as a precautionary measure. There was also traffic as motorists made their way to El Socorro, and as you can see in West Trinidad, with standstill traffic around the National Stadium. But outside of Port of Spain, onto the Uriah Butler Highway, there was also bumper-to-bumper traffic as citizens attempted to make their way home. Some images of that traffic on your screen. Immediately following the news of the shooting in downtown Port of Spain, many businesses shut their doors and sent their employees home. President of the Downtown Owners and Merchants Association, Gregory Aboud, says today's event is a stark reminder to the business community of what happened back in 1990. Judy Canhai has the details in tonight's Business Watch.
The doors to many businesses in downtown Port of Spain were shut down early today following the shooting incident. By 2 p.m. this afternoon, many people were already heading home and some were stranded waiting for transport. President of the Downtown Owners and Merchants Association, Gregory Aboud, says today's incident was a tragic one which ended in the death of a police officer and is also a reminder of what happened in this country back in 1990.
We're here on the afternoon of July the 27th. 1990. And may I also respectfully submit that there has been no real resolution to that yet. We don't know that we are protected from something like that happening again, and certainly we are quite unfortunately nervous about that.
Aboud says under these circumstances, the country needs to be informed by the authorities immediately.
There isn't a good mechanism for evacuation, unfortunately, because even when we don't have a serious problem, it already is very difficult to all leave at once.
And he says this country needs a proper mechanism to evacuate the capital city.
They didn't go into immediate shutdown, but they did react to the news of the shooting outside the hospital and to the news of a police officer who was tragically killed. And then, of course, they responded to the number of sirens which were going up and down the streets.
Judy Canhai, CNC3.
The Jamaat al-Muslimin is distancing itself from the events of today. The Jamaat hosted a press conference this afternoon in which it called on the police and the media to deal with Muslims fairly.
We ask you to be here today because of the anxiety that is in the society, especially where Muslims are concerned. And the Jamaat al-Muslimin wishes to assure the population of Trinidad and Tobago that there is no reason to panic where we are concerned. We have some legal issues which will be addressed through the legal processes. We are not in a position to make any informed statement. And that is one of the problems with Trinidadians. They like to wishy-washy, make comments on things without having any proper information. And sometimes they get people into trouble by just making comments without having any facts to support the comments they make. This matter that has occurred, I mean, I've been here since about 12:30. I've not left here. So I have no real idea, no real information except sketchy about what happened.
Still to come in the news this evening, authorities beef up security at the nation's ports. And 3 murders occur overnight. We'll tell you about that and more next.
For the first time in our nation's history, every citizen will have the opportunity to own a stake in the energy sector.
You have any idea how this will change the lives of every ordinary citizen, including you?
Every citizen can now invest and own all that this energy giant is growing up to become. The NGL IPO coming soon. Energy we own.
I must say, praises and thanks to WASA.
Thank you especially for giving lots of us the water and giving us a better life now.
Sometimes the water, when it comes into the line, it dirty. No, we're getting clean water.
Celebrating the joy now flowing across the country.
So kids, what do you all think about Jack's fried chicken?
Jack's is the best!
That's right! The best chicken combos, the best size of chicken, the best price, the best seasoning, the best fish combos, the best salads, best customers, the best locations, the best combo deals at the best price. Jack's fried chicken is the best taste around.
This summer, a taste is coming that's slamming. Introducing the all-new Summer Slam from Wendy's. The Summer Slam sandwich, delicious caramelized pineapple with 100% beef or chicken breast. Or the Summer Slam salad topped with pineapple chunks. And the Summer Slam frosty shake. Enjoy the slamming taste of summer, only at Wendy's. Now that's better.
I give them small tide, helps them grow. The vitamin B's give them vitality, so they hop, skip, kick, and flip, run and throw. It's what great moms do, you know. She's got a notch on the wall, he's got an A in his book. Great hair, great skin, it's such a good look. So that's why she's small to everybody knows. It's what great moms do, you know.
Smalter, satisfying, so filling and great tasting. Great moms choose Smalter because you love them.
Continuing with our coverage now of today's prison break, COP leader Prakash Ramadas says he was in a high-level meeting discussing prison officers' safety when he heard of the developments at the Royal Jail. However, he suggested there was intelligence to suggest that something was afoot, which is why they took measures to install additional security outside of the prison.
I would have seen the response time, and that is why we had police on the scene even before the incident in anticipation of these things.
So there was intelligence that something was afoot?
We anticipated a lot of things that may happen, but you do not wait to respond. You take proactive measures to put things in place, and that's why the police presence out there was so important today.
Mr. Ramadas says his ministry, the Ministry of Justice, is doing what it can to ensure the safety of prison officers.
We are doing things on many different fronts to deal with the awfulness of prison and prison life, and for all those who work within it and all those who are inmates within it. So rest assured that there will be a holistic approach to all of these things. The security of our officers, prison officers, police officers, indeed all security officers of state must be looked at in a different way.
Meanwhile, the Airports Authority says security at both airports in this country are currently engaged in 100% screening at all the security checkpoints, thus increasing the wait times at the airports. In a statement, the authority says it is asking international travelers to arrive at least 3 hours before check-in, while domestic passengers are asked to arrive at least 2 hours prior to departure of flights to Tobago. The management of the authority assures the travelling public that contingency plans are being put in place to facilitate the return to normal operations at Piarco and ANR international airports. Meanwhile, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, as well as the Port of Spain Mayor, are both saying that they have full confidence in the security forces. The Chamber says it reinforces its unwavering support and confidence in the established national security services. The Chamber says it is certain that the security agencies remain fully on alert and ready to treat with any real or perceived threat to the safety and security of all who live and work in the capital city. Meanwhile, Mayor of Port of Spain, Raymond Timke, and the Port of Spain City Corporation say they are saddened by the unfortunate situation which took place today at the Port of Spain prison. In a statement, the corporation says it is extending solidarity with the Ministry of National Security and urges burgesses of Port of Spain and the population to stay calm. Police officers in Central and South Trinidad are on the alert following the incident in Port of Spain earlier today. There had been a number of rumours that police stations in Faizabad and Chaguanas were under attack by gunmen. However, the authorities, including the Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, dispelled such notions, saying it was not true. But police officers in South Trinidad were on the lookout for armed men who were said to be transporting drugs. Officers were conducting roadblocks and anti-crime exercises. However, police reportedly spotted one of the men in Pepper Village and confronted him to take him into custody. Police say the incident was not in any way connected to the incident in Port of Spain, but they are on the lookout for any untoward occurrences. Well, it's time now to switch over to our sportscast with our anchor Robert Dumas, who is standing by to bring us the very latest.
In for West Indies' upcoming tour. And Usain Bolt wins 100 meters at anniversary games. Sport is next.
For the first time in our nation's history, every citizen will have the opportunity to own a stake in the energy sector.
Finally, regular people count for something more in Trinidad and Tobago.
Every citizen can now invest and own all that this energy giant is growing up to become. The NGL IPO coming soon. Energy we own.
Hydrate your body, hydrate your mind.
Porsides invites all shrimp lovers to enjoy their mouth-watering shrimp dishes. New on the menu, dal, rice, and curry shrimp. Go ahead, ask about our new tamarind sauce. Porsides Roti Shop, Trinidad's premier roti shop. Arriba, Tunapuna, Sawa, Port of Spain.
For the first time in our nation's history, every citizen will have the opportunity to own a stake in the energy sector.
Generations to come will talk about this day.
Every citizen can now invest and own all that this energy giant is growing up to become. The NGL IPO coming soon. Energy we own.
For shine, I recommend products with Moroccan argan oil to all my clients. Suave Professional's Moroccan infusion makes hair shine as well as the Salon brand Moroccan oil.
Suave Professionals works as well as Salon brands.